Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today I want to go over a couple of tips that I learned in Neltharus. A couple of weird things along the way, a couple of little mechanics and things like that to look out for that may make your life easier in Neltharus. This isn't a full dungeon guide, but this is a few things. I will be making dungeon guides probably a little bit further on into the season, most likely. Before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. If you would like to become a patron, I offer early access videos, early access tank club guides, 2-minute like trinket reviews as I test them and I get them and all that fun stuff and a whole lot more. I also have merch for sale. There's the DK, Blood DK, I'm the healer now. I only do dungeons fully erect, and now newly introduced Sad Bear. I'm a tank too. You can check that at the Teespring link down below. Twitch, come on by, check me stream, and a Discord down below as well to, come join a wonderful community full of great people. Alright, let's get into Neltharus. So number one is Mag Mammoth, the big first boss. Now, one of the things that I see is people being like, oh, you have to place the, you have to place the boss a little bit better. Guess what? That's not entirely on the tank. The charge targets a DPS and a healer. So to optimize the room, you should be trying to bait the charge in places where there is not pools. As the tank, you can do this to a portion of a degree, but really the DPS and the healers have to help you out. So if you're struggling with that with your group, have them bait the charge away from other pools so he doesn't get fire stacks to get bigger and bigger. The more he's in his own fire pools, the bigger he gets, the harder he hits and all that fun stuff, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Now, let's actually go right into the second boss as well. So, the trash is kind of fairly straightforward here, so there's not a whole lot of trash stuff here. But the second boss, one of the strategies I've seen pugs doing is when all three chains come out, they're trying to break them all at the same time. And that is not the good play to be doing this in most scenarios. While some healers have been able to keep up, once you start escalating in keys, this is each chain leaves a dot that stacks, and it really, really hurts. So the way that we found that we had the most success with it was break one chain, let the dot fall off, break another chain, let the dot fall off, and do them subsequently. I've seen a lot of pugs in Neltharus. I think I've gotten a decent amount of keys in on that one already, where everyone just rushes to break the chains, and the healers are just losing their mind. So sparse that out. Break a chain, let the dot fall off. Break a chain, let the dot fall off. And then again, this is gonna help you guys a lot. The big AoE that he does looks really scary, but what's really scary about that mechanic is the dot that the group gets for breaking those chains. All right, now after the second boss, did you know that there is actually a skip that you can do? Rogues can lockpick this, and blacksmiths can actually use their skeleton keys that they make with the Dragonflight expansion, the Sterovite skeleton keys. And as well, inscriptions have the writ of unlocking that work with this as well. But I am going to recommend blacksmiths in general here. So I have gotten blacksmiths on all of my tanks. These keys are a nice secondary. I have a nice route that works very, very well with those keys. Has one less pulls than kind of what I've seen and works really, really well. But that's going to be to each be their own. But there's actually an item later on that's the real reason why I wanted to go blacksmithing for Neltharus. But you can opt to pull some extra trash here and there, pretty easily, just adding a couple of really safe things into pulls. Utilize this skip and go completely around. So instead of going through the door that unlocks after the second boss, you just backtail it a little bit, unlock the door with the skeleton key, lockpicking, whatever you're using, and then go up the tower from there. Now, when we get to the third boss, after you defeat him, there is a shield on that anvil that he is using. You can grab it as long as you have 25 points, 25 skill in blacksmithing. And what this does is this gives you an extra action button that deals damage and leaves a lingering dot for damage. Now, once you get to the last boss, you know that you have the gold piles that you have to take, and you grab an item. Then you have to use those items to take down the shield as fast as possible. Well, and I have tested this, if you grab the gold pile while you still have the shield, and you keep the gold pile. What's going to happen is the gold pile extra action button item is going to override the shield one for until you use it, but what you can do is you can use them quickly in succession for having a quicker burst on those shields. Now, whether you want to save it for maybe a shield later on in the fight, or the first one to get into Bloodlust, or whatever it is you're doing, you can really kind of stack up a lot of damage. And I've noticed that this for just an extra action button shield item deals considerable damage on that fight, and it does scale with key level, so the amount of damage that it does seems to scale with how high the key is. But this is a really, really good way to get a quick knockdown on a shield. Maybe you want to save it for your pugs if you're noticing one isn't doing it too well, or something like that. You know, he struggled the first time. Lots of different things that you can do there, but that shield is really, really worth having. So if you are not doing anything with professions at all, you haven't really cared, you don't want anything to do with them, get your blacksmithing up to 25. It really costs like no gold at all, and you can actually make the skeleton keys for like 10 of those points. And it doesn't require much at all, like a 1,500 gold investment, and you can get blacksmithing up to 25 to be able to get the skeleton keys to be able to unlock that door and the blacksmithing shield. But those are kind of the tips and tricks that I learned along the way for some of these bosses, and some of this in this dungeon, a few little, hidden secrets or whatever, not quite hidden secrets, but some stuff to make life go easier. That is it for me today for Neltharus. I am going to be doing Brackenhide, not Blackenhide Hollow, Brackenhide Hollow tomorrow, because that's another dungeon that I've spent quite a bit of time in already. So I will be coming up with some tips that I've learned for that dungeon there. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. Have yourself a good one. Happy tanking. Bye.